We just saw that with polynomial functions, polynomial expressions, and rational functions, rational expressions, as long as we don't get a zero in a denominator, we can simply plug in the value that x is approaching into the expression or into the function in order to determine its limit. Well, those aren't the only functions that you can do that for. It turns out that our trig functions, you can do that for. Now, there is a slight asterisk that I should put on tangent. I didn't write it down just because it doesn't fit in the margins here. But in terms of tangents, remember tangent is sine divided by cosine. So tangent, you can evaluate this way so long as you don't get zero in the denominator. If we're taking a limit as x goes to c of sine, I can simply plug in c into the sine function or the sine expression, whichever phrase you'd like. Cosine, I can simply plug in the value into cosine. Tangent, I can simply plug in the value of tangent. Again, so long as our denominator is not zero, so long as tangent is defined there. You can also do that with exponential functions. As long as our base is above zero, we just plug in exponential functions. We force our base to be zero because you have negative numbers. Sometimes those exponents don't work. You can also do that with your logarithms. In particular, the natural log of x, you can plug in c into. Now, again, this is as long as natural log is defined. If you plug in natural log of -5, you're not going to get anything. So technically for c, which is above zero, you can do that. And same thing, as x goes to c, any nth root, you can just plug in c into that nth root. Again, as long as this is defined. And if you read closely up here at the very top, it says, let c be in the domain of a given function. So the fact that c has to be in the domain is implicit in all of these. All right. So we have to have, when you're plugging in into natural log, the domain of natural log is positive numbers. The domain of tangent is anywhere that cosine is not zero. You know, the domain here, especially if n is even, we want generally positive numbers in our nth roots. So be very careful that, yes, c still does need to be in the domain. You don't want zeros in the denominator. So there's nothing really for me to show about that. What I would like you to do is use those properties to find the limit of cosecant of x as x approaches pi over 3, and the limit of the fraction 5x plus natural log of x divided by 2x to the third as x approaches 4. You may have to round your answer to 4 decimal places. You also will want your calculator to be set in radian mode in order to get the right answer. So I want you to do those, and I will show you how those are done in the next video.